Hello, my lovelies. Today we are doing 30 urban legends that are really fucking true. Really true. Did you know in every piece of fiction there is at least a little bit of truth? Just a little bit. Everyone loves a good urban legend, and yet in many cases these word-of-mouth stories are totally false. For example, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, you probably shouldn't hold your breath waiting for Sasquatch. And if you're from New Jersey, you likely don't have to worry about the Jersey Devil. But while many urban legends are pure fiction, there are some that are motherfucking true. And that's what we're going to go through. All right. The first one on our list of true, they're supposed to be urban legends, but they are actually true. Okay, the first one is the story of Charlie No Face. It's actually a very, very sad story. The tale of Charlie No Face is an example of one of those true stories that gets wildly twisted in each retelling. It's like a big game of telephone. Here are the facts. In the early 1900s, a Pennsylvanian boy named Ray Robinson was electrocuted by a trolley wire, resulting in lifelong disfigurement. Can you imagine the life that this boy went through? Ay, Maria. All right, and specifically, most of his facial features were melted away by the trolley wire. After that, he was ostracized, and stories about his disfigurement grew more and more preposterous as the rumor mill began to spin. Today, the people of Western Pennsylvania insist that Charlie No Face, whose nickname remains a mystery, has become a radioactive, glowing green man type figure who haunts an abandoned freight tunnel. But the truth is that he was just a guy who experienced an unfortunate childhood accident. That's really, really, really sad that that happened. My heart literally goes out to him, but the freaky deaky part of my brain wants to know all about this glowing green man figure that haunts the abandoned freight tunnel. Is that real? Because I want to check that out. All right. The next one is Colonel Buck's recurring tombstone stain. Okay. Passerby are often keen to point out the oddly shaped mark resembling a leg that stains the tomb of this former justice of the peace. That's because rumor has it that Colonel Jonathan Buck ordered a young woman be put to death for practicing witchcraft. Angry face. Allegedly, her leg rolled out of the fiery blaze, and in retaliation, the witch put an internal curse on Buck's final resting place in Bucksport, Maine. While we can't confirm any of that, of course, the tombstone has reportedly been scrubbed thoroughly several times, but the leg-shaped stain continues to reappear. Today, it's become somewhat of a tourist attraction. That witch was pissed. I would be too. Reptiles living in city sewers. This has been a long time urban legend, and a lot of people, myself included, alligators, snakes, rats coming up through the toilet. Like when I'm on the shitter, I often fear that like a snake's gonna poke his head up, and I'm constantly like looking between my legs. Bet you just got a fucked up mental image, didn't you? Yeah, that's what I do. I'm scared of snakes, especially if they're coming up after my booty. Ooh, fuck that. All right, but the urban legend is reptiles living in city sewers. It just depends on what century we're talking about here. In the early 1900s, it wasn't unheard of for wealthy New Yorkers to bring baby Floridan and get alligators back to the Big Apple to keep as pets. Smart. When they decided their pets weren't quite as cute as they'd hoped, they supposedly flushed them down the toilet. Those motherfuckers. In 1932, the New York Times reported that a group of teenagers had witnessed a gator easing itself out of a Bronx river. But don't fret. The chances that there's a band of toothy reptiles currently swimming through the sewage of your city these days is nil. The only time it would have been cool is if all these gators were flushed down the toilet, if they would have became like the Ninja Turtles were, but only alligators, crocodiles, you know? Teenage Mutant, but they have their own song. That would have been kind of cool. Come on. Number 4, Neil Armstrong buttling the moon landing speech. Here we go again with this. I can see the strings and that pivotal moment for all of humanity when Americans became the first people to step foot on the moon. Yeah, of course that was scripted, but the quotation that we all know and love is not what astronaut Neil Armstrong was supposed to radio back to Earth. We all know the phrase as one small step for mankind and one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. But he was meant to say one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. Apparently, after listening to the recording himself, Armstrong admitted to misspeaking the line. He wanted to make it his own thing. I mean, he was the motherfucker up there. I would have said what I wanted to say anyway. It was on me. Number 5, the government stealing dead children for science. Holy shit, what did we just step into? All right, kind of. In the flurry of testing after World War II, after the US had dropped the world's first atomic bomb, scientists wanted to determine the effect of nuclear radiation on human flesh. My God, this is disgusting. In a series of tests known as Project Sunshine, oh, it sounds so fucking happy. It's not. The test subjects were deceased children, specifically stillborn babies, whose parents were probably not notified about how their children's bodies were being experimented on. Gruesome and sad, but true. I can't even compliment on that. That's disgusting. Sad. Terrible. Number 6. This is very true. Very creepy. One of the creepiest stories I have ever heard. One of the creepiest mysteries I have ever heard in my entire life. And I've done lots of research on this one. Number 6 is called A Corpse Rotting a Hotel's Water Supply. I think you know this story. You know how sometimes the water at your hotel just tastes downright disgusting? Well, it's not entirely outside of the realm of reason that there might be a dead body floating in the water supply, contributing to less than the desirable taste. At least that's what happened at a Los Angeles hotel in 2013, after several days of guests complaining about a terrible smell that emanated anytime they turned on the shower. Not to mention the terrible taste when they tried to brush their teeth. Management checked the water tank on the hotel roof and found the body of 21-year-old Elisa Lam floating inside. Her body was estimated to have been in the tank for 2 weeks. We still have no motherfucking idea how little Elisa climbed up them stairs, opened that tank to the top of the water tower, which was super heavy and usually took 3 people, 3 grown men to open, how she opened it and just chucked herself in there. Very suspicious, very creepy. I've had nightmares about this. It haunts me. It literally haunts me. Number 7. Murderers entering apartments via medicine cabinets. This is horrifying and fucking true. Scary. The 1992 horror film Candyman. So good. If you haven't ever seen it, check it out. If you haven't seen it, you should be ashamed. It's like OG type of shit. Candyman includes a scene in which the main characters learn that a murderer might be entering apartments via the medicine cabinets. And apparently, this was once a legitimate structural flaw in some apartment complexes. The medicine cabinets in adjoining apartments in Chicago were connected by a flimsy partition, and an actual murder was committed by criminals entering through this weak structure. And for more crazy real-life events, check out history's biggest conspiracy theories that still creep us out. You know, just because they say they're conspiracy theories, it doesn't always mean that they're true, but it doesn't always mean that they're not true. You know? Keep that mind open. Stay woke. 8. A mysterious watcher haunting a family's new home. There's actually a TV show on Netflix, I believe, about this, and I think it's called The Watcher. Pretty good. Right after a family purchased their dream home in New Jersey in 2014, a stalker calling himself the Watcher buried them with with a series of letters claiming, among other things, that his own family has watched the house for generations. The letters also inquired about when the family would be filling the house with young blood. What the fuck? While it's unclear if there's any truth to what was substantiated in the letters, it was enough to scare the parents and the 3 young children into moving out of the house. I would have did the same fucking thing because it's creepy. Sounds like there was some curse or rituals that the family a long time ago did, and yeah, I don't know. I'd get the fuck out of there. That's what I would do. After I checked it out, though, because you know me, curiosity killed the cat. Meow. The boogeyman kidnapping children. This has been an urban legend from the beginning of time, you know. Parents often reassure their children that the boogeyman doesn't exist, but on Staten Island in the 1980s, he was all too real. Cropsey would drag children from their beds carrying a bloody axe in the crook of his arm. In reality, the legends surrounding Cropsey can likely all be traced back to a man by the name of Andre Rand. Rand worked as a janitor at Willowbrook State School, which specialized in providing services for children with disabilities. He was later suspected of kidnapping multiple children and officially found guilty for kidnapping 2. He was a real thing. You gotta look up Cropsey. The whole story, nightmares, goosebumps. You'll love it. Check it out. Not that I condone any of that shit, but I mean, let's be real. It is kind of fun to read about, you know. Number 10, the city beneath the city. Through the conspiracy theories about the subterranean city beneath Denver International Airport have been thoroughly debunked. Another of America's cities, Las Vegas, does have its own underground city, but it's less of a conspiracy and more of an effort on the part of the tourist industry to maintain the city's appeal. With police's stringent limitations preventing homeless people from setting up camp on the Vegas Strip, that population struggled to find anywhere to go and ended up with cities' underground flood channels. So there's like this whole thing. I mean, a lot of people talked about there being tunnels and shit going this way, that way under these cities. Nah, just rubbish. No, it's real. It's real. The house at the bottom of the lake. Resting in the murky depths of Connecticut's Gardner Lake is a fully intact house that much is confirmed by the Hartford Courant, no less. Supposedly, the house sank beneath the surface when a family attempted to move it across the frozen lake in the midst of a 19th century winter. The really eerie part is that to this day, fishermen report hearing strained musical notes gurgling up to the surface of the lake, supposedly from the parlor room piano. Whether or not that part of the story is true, though, we're in no position to say. Do you believe? I got goosebumps telling me, yeah, someone's down there banging some fucking keys. And okay, let's see here. 12, and at the entire town at the bottom of the lake. It's no Atlantis, but it's probably as close as America is going to get to the underwater city of myth. In the 1940s, an entire evacuated town in Georgia was purposely flooded with water in order to build what is known as Lake Lanier. The entire community, included a racetrack, was submerged by the lake building project. So Atlantis is real. You know, I'm known as a siren. I don't know if that's a mermaid siren or an evil siren or what kind of siren, but maybe that's where I belong. If I wasn't so scared of water, or water I couldn't see to the bottom of. I love water, but yeah, you know. 13, medical students recognize a cadaver. Apparently, a letter to the editor of the Journal of the American Medical Association in 1982 documented how a medical school student had recently recognized her own great aunt among the cadavers being dissected in one of her classes. Oh. Luckily, this situation doesn't seem to happen very frequently. Fuck. How did she just recognize a relative's bone? Like, hey, that's my auntie. Hey, that's my uncle. Hey, how do you do that? My God. Poor girl. 14. I don't know if we're going to get through all 30 of these, but I'm trying. I'm motor mouthing it here. We're working on it. 14. The Woman in Black, haunting the South. The situation isn't quite as horror movie scary as its name implies. In 2014, a woman dressed in black from head to toe, including a trailing black veil and billowing black robes, was spotted walking the highways of the South, and a series of rumors mounted about what she could possibly be up to. The truth was that the woman, a U.S. Army veteran, described the self-imposed pilgrimage as having to do with her faith and her religion. A lot of people drive along that highway and claim to see the woman in black. There is actually a woman in black. I don't know if it's as ghostly as some of us would like it to be or not like it to be, but in this case, it's a veteran, and she is doing this because of her faith and her religion, so it's true. Number 15, the man who became a pair of shoes. What the fuck? Okay. George Parrott, also known as Big Nose George, he has a honker. Let me show you this. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, goodness. That's a schnoz for you, isn't it? Oh. Anyways, George was hanged in the 1880s for being I don't know what that word is. He was being a shitty person, outlaw, with a penchant for horse thievery. Oh, he was a thief. Supposedly, a physician was assigned to study George's brain in order to root out the cause of his criminal activity. And bizarrely, he decided to use George's skin for a number of crude purposes, including making himself a new pair of shoes. Today, the shoes are on display at the Carbon County Museum in Montana. Hello, Ed Gaines. All over again. Maybe that'd be cool to check out. This is what I'm saying. Number 16, rats living in the toilet. This is why I do this whole number when I'm on the toilet, because I don't want them to get near my stuff, you know? Be honest, you've probably always harbored a bit of a secret fear of what could possibly be lurking in the toilet as you lower yourself onto the seat, right? Fucking you're right. And if you haven't, you might start looking before you sit yourself down now. After I read this to you. You'll be doing it too. Or we could do the hover. You know how you hover? Yep, I do that too. If you haven't, you might start looking before you sit down. I already read that. As told on an episode of NPR's This American Life, an Oregon man returned from a fun night out and wanted to make a quick trip to the bathroom before crawling into bed, as we all do. But that plan was foiled by a furry live rodent he found in the toilet when he lifted up the lid. Motherfucker. Ugh. Creepy. That shit creeps me out. Blood, guts, gore, that shit does not bother me at all. Jump scares, I love jump scares, but shit like that, real life, okay. Yeah. 17, Halloween candy being laced with drugs. We wish. No, we don't wish. It's recommended that parents exercise some caution and check their children's candy after an evening of trick-or-treating, and for good reason. There have unfortunately been multiple reports of unsuspecting children returning home with small baggies of crystal methamphetamine in their treat bags. I just don't see people just giving the shit away. I mean, it's not cheap, and how fucking terrible. So still to this day, always check your children's candy, okay? We all should know that. I've been doing it forever. Number 18, and over-the-counter medicine being laced with poison. This is scary. This is very scary. I'm pretty sure this just happened with Tylenol a few years back, several years back. Very scary. We're about to find out. Okay. Oh, yeah. Ever wondered if the medicine you're taking as prescribed includes any extra ingredients I always do, which is why I have a fear of taking any kind of medication at all. Thanks to the modern day tamper resistant seal, you can rest assured that your medicine is mixed just like the doctor ordered. Unfortunately, this packaging was developed for a reason. In 1982, someone got it into their head to inject potassium cyanide, a deadly poison, into multiple bottles of Tylenol after several people died in what came to be known as the Tylenol murders. That is really sad. The FDA stepped up to the plate and came out with regulations requiring all medicinal manufacturers to produce seals that were tamper-proof. Thank God for that. I take Tylenol. That freaks my shit. Number 19. Coca-Cola recalled a suggestive poster. Okay. Yes, the soda company everyone knows and loves has experienced its fair share of public relation problems. The poster in question was benign enough, at least in the company's intention, issued in the 1980s as a way to promote the new bottle design. The poster bearing the slogan, "Feel the Curves," was quickly recalled after a keen-eye observer noted an inappropriate sexual image in one of the ice cubes. Well, my friends, that's because sex sells. It do. Number 20. Webster's Dictionary made an error. Holy shit, the whole world should just shut down. An error. Oh my God. From 1934 through 1947, Merriam-Webster inadvertently included an entry for a fabricated word, DORD, D-O-R-D, defined as density. The error was eventually corrected by a flustered editor who termed it a ghost word. It's nice to know that one of the most authoritative sources on the English language that makes mistakes too. Well, of course. There's always mistakes. 21. The jet black squirrels of the Midwest. Do we have black squirrels? Yeah, we have black squirrels. We're about to find out. These squirrels' possible possession of arcane powers, they're in cahoots with black cats apparently on Halloween, remain a source of contention, but the existence of these rare jet black woodland creatures is irrefutable. These black squirrels are confined to the Midwest, concentrated in particularly large clusters in Michigan. The story goes that Kellogg's cereal, W.K. Kellogg, imported the black squirrels in an effort to eradicate the red squirrels, a species that he detests. That sounds a little bit racist to me, 22. Injury-inducing escalators. I was like 24, 23 before I ever got on my first escalator. Those things scared the bitch out of me, literally, until I kind of figured out the hang of it. I'd back up and I'd just wait a little bit. I'd 1, 2, 3, and just hop on and then hang on and just woo or ride the ride. I thought they were fun, and then I just kept going because it was fun. It was like a really fun ride. So, yeah. So maybe it's not exactly possible for your shoelace to get caught in the escalator and suck you completely underneath the machine. That's how I used to think. Admit it, you did have the fear as a kid. But escalators are more dangerous than you might expect. A study published in the journal West Gem in 2013 reported that the U.S. experiences approximately 10,000 emergency-level escalator-related injuries each year. That's a fuck of a lot. Unsurprisingly, alcohol usually plays a large role in those accidents. I believe that. So when you've had a few, consider opting for the nearest elevator instead. Yes, if you've had some drinks, I don't think stairs are your friends at all. Whether you gotta manually walk them or they walk you, then no, just use the elevator. 23. The man who fell through the window. This is serious. At first I thought it was a joke, but it's serious. It actually happened. Though it existed as an urban legend for some time, this story of a lawyer falling through a window to prove just how unbreakable the glass was in the Toronto Dominion Centre is indeed true. As told by Torontist in July 1993, Gary Hoy, a partner at the law firm of Holden Day Wilson, was attempting to prove how strong the glass was in the building when to a group of articled students, excuse me. However, when he lunged at the window using his full weight, the entire window popped out of the frame, sending Hoy 24 stories to his death. The glass did not technically shatter. It was unbreakable. But Hoy was incorrect with the claim that it could withstand the weight of a 160-pound man. So, wow. That's a bitch. That totally sucks. Number 24, the man who created a balloon flying lawn chair. This is scary as shit to me. I mean, it's totally Disney. It reminds me of Up, when the house goes up with all the balloons. But it's fucking scary. I'd be thinking, okay, yeah, that sounds fun, but how the fuck am I going to get down? While the balloon buoyed flying chair, lawn chair, is a common trope in cartoons, it has roots in reality too. The first person to create a flying lawn chair was Larry Walters, who made a homemade airship using a lawn chair and 45 helium balloons, helium-filled weather balloons. He set out with this homemade flying vehicle on July 2nd, 1982, out of San Pedro, California, and he flew through the sky for a whole 45 minutes before coming entangled in power lines and climbing down to safety. According to the New Yorker, since his semi-successful flight, numerous imitators have surfaced attempting to recreate his historic moment, and all have had the same amount of non-success. Don't do it. Don't do it, girl. This next one is called A Prop Corpse Turned Out to Be a Real Dead Body. That's happened a lot. And here is the picture. Wait. See that? Yuck. My God. Okay. Elmer in his coffin. His name is Elmer. Though it may read like an urban legend, the corpse of Elmer McCurdy, an early 20th century bank and train robber, somehow became a frightening staple of the traveling carnival and sideshow circuit for more than 5 decades. That was until his mummified remains, then used as a frightful prop, were discovered in 1976 at the Pike Amusement Zone in Long Beach, California. Now dubbed the Bandit Who Wouldn't Give Up, McCurdy's remains were finally sent to their final resting place in 1977 at the Summit View Cemetery in Guthrie, Oklahoma. So that's crazy. They thought it was a prop. No, it was a real body. 26. The case of the accidental adult film star. If you were ever a resident of Council Grove, Kansas, it's likely that you're familiar with an urban legend that details the accidental exploits of a town sheriff who made a pre-internet era viral erotic tape. Sounds interesting. As it turns out, the legend actually checks out. Okay. As reported by ABC News, the sheriff of Council Grove, Kansas, accidentally returned a VHS containing intimate footage of him and his wife to the local video rental store. Holy shit. After the slip-up was made, numerous people around town soon learned the most intimate details of their local sheriff's life. Oops. 27. The body under the hotel bed. Legend has it that some people encountered dead bodies underneath their hotel beds. Holy fuck. Though it sounds like a childhood campfire story, in fact, 12+ newspapers have detailed stories about this grisly occurrence, from a couple in Atlantic City sleeping on a mattress that contained a dead body to guests at the Budget Motel in Memphis finding the dead body of Sony Millbrook, a missing person, just beneath their bed. I remember that, and everyone was like, oh, that's not true, it's urban legend, and I researched the shit out of it. I was like, no, this is true. It really happened. It happened. The Maine Hermit. We're on number 28. Just a couple left. For 27 years straight, citizens and tourists in the North Pond region of Maine would come home to mysteriously find possessions, food, clothing, tools, toiletries missing. An urban legend was born. There was a hermit in the woods. Well, that sounds fun. That didn't tell us much. No. Okay, number 29. There are aliens buried in the Southwest. Could they? There are aliens among us. Despite the tall tales that are perpetually swirling around Nevada's Area 51. The only extraterrestrial presence in the Southwest that we can positively confirm is the mass burial ground for the 1982 E.T. video game, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. The video game, which was based on the seminal 1982 Disney film of the same name, was met with such widespread admiration that Atari decided to literally bury all the unsold games in the sands of New Mexico landfill. Dramatic much? They sounded like they had some problems with it. Number 30, the madman who hangs dead bunnies from bridges. Even if you weren't a resident of Virginia in the 1970s, when this urban legend became a favorite tale among children and teens, it's likely that you're at least familiar with some aspects of the story. As the legend goes, an escaped mentalist institution patient had taken to roaming around the countryside of Virginia, killing rabbits and hanging their dead bodies from bridges in the area. And through this exact story may not fully check out, there are very real reports of a raving madman in the area who was seen by numerous people in October 1970. According to the witnesses, he was dressed in a white suit and bunny ears, sometimes even launching a hatchet at cars full of people. And for more bizarre trivia, check out the most hard to believe fact about every state. That could be something we could do next on another video. So yeah, this is true. This adult man is walking around in a bunny suit with a hatchet. Is there a movie about that? We should do one. Jesus, there should be one. That'd be scary as hell. But anyways, he kills rabbits, rodents, hangs them from bridges. I don't know. Probably just having a bad Tuesday. Anyways, that's the end. That's 30 urban legends that are totally true. If you don't believe me, look them up yourself. But they are true. So, it's Sunday night. I wanted to wish you all a very happy, healthy week. Make sure you get your shit done. I gotta tell myself that every day. I just got home, so I'm still in my coat, and it is totally snack time for me. I'm so hungry. So, I will see you all next Sunday. Let me know in the comments if you liked the 30 urban legends that are true. Fucking true. Let me know what you want me to do for next week. There's tons of subjects that we could cover, but I really like when y'all step up and say, oh, I would like to hear this or that. It just gives me something to focus on then. So go ahead and let me know in the comments. Let me know if you like the video. So I will see you next Sunday. All right? All right. Love you. Good night.